Hello there, my friends. This is the NEWSPASTE Podcast with me, your host, Johnny Vedmore, and I'm here today with someone who I've talked with on so many occasions. I mean, this has been just on the Johnny Vedmore show on TNT. Tim came on so many different times, and then we've just been friends after that. We get on really well. I mean, I think we're probably sitting in the same area, watching the world go by with the same sort of lack of illusions that many people are stuck with at the moment. But that's true. Our guest today is Tim Hinchliffe of the Sociable. And how are you, Tim?
Oh, thanks, Johnny. I'm doing quite well. I'm back at the in the old United States, the fatherland,
The
and
fatherland. Because, of
the
course, for
fatherland.
people who don't know you, who don't
Mm.
know of your work, where are you normally based?
I am normally based in the country of Colombia in South America, just outside of Medellin, Pablo Escobar's old stopping grounds, up in the Andes Mountains.
Oh,
Normally, been there
beautiful.
12 years. Yeah.
Beautiful. I bet it's beautiful there.
Tis evergreen all the time and great weather. I don't know what you do in Celsius, but in Fahrenheit, it's around 65, 68 degrees all year round, basically. So it's like spring.
When
Yeah.
I went up to, I suppose you're roughly the same level as the north of Chile. Would
Mm.
that be about right?
It's possible. I don't know. So level
Yeah.
wise, really
Okay.
close to the equator, but then I'm also up in the mountains at 7,000 feet. So that's
I am going to take a little look
the days
quickly.
are. I can tell you that it's really strange being in up in the Adirondacks of New York and the United States right now because it gets dark at 8:39 p.m. Whereas in Colombia it's just 6:30 to 6:30 every single day, just 12
Yeah.
hours light, 12 hours
Well, it's
day.
just Peru in between
Mm,
Colombia and Chile.
mm,
I thought Colombia was a little bit further down, but when I went to the north of Chile, right to Arica, which is on the Peruvian-Bolivian border, it was 27 degrees all year round. It was
yeah.
told to me, like with a fresh breeze on the seaside. I mean, just completely beautiful. It's a wonderful area of the world. And you're back in the United States now.
Yeah, speaking of like the 72 degree, the 27 degrees, it's like Medellin, the city of Medellin is called La Ciudad de la Eterna Primavera, which is the city of eternal spring. So that's what that's like. So here where I'm at, it is muggy,
Muggy.
muggy,
But where
sticky.
you are now.
Yeah, yeah, where I'm
Yeah,
now
yeah.
in the States. But I've been doing lots of fishing. And actually, I was even out there just an hour and a half ago on my kayak, and I had a lot of what do you call them? Puns, analogies, metaphors relating to writing and fishing as I was out there with for example, like
Go on.
you get the bait. I was like, well, in writing, first what you need the hook. I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, yeah, okay, you got the hook. And then what's after the hook is I've realized like I need to put steel leaders on a steel lead because when the bigger fish come, they'll just bite the whole thing, bite the line, and take it away with them. So you need a strong lead. So you need the hook, you need the strong lead, and as an angler, you need an angle. So
Mhm.
like I've got all these like writing and fishing metaphors going on, and
Yeah,
just and then
us
Samuel
writers.
Taylor Coleridge just came to mind. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. So like I'm out there and it was like what's the line? It's alone, alone, all alone on a wide, wide sea, and never a soul took pity on my soul in agony. The many men so beautiful, and they all dead did lie, and 1,000 slimy things lived on, and so did I. And what I thought was thinking about things going on and many things going on, like thinking of how to write a story and then like a blank canvas. And I don't know. It's one of those things. Just being out there, it's great for um, inspiration.
Yeah, I think fishing is something where the mind is allowed to go. There is a lack of distractions. There is visually. I do think visually, as soon as we turn our vision off and we close our eyes, and we start to experience everything so differently all of a sudden. I think that's probably got an element to it.
Mhm.
I wonder if I wonder, do you think there's a Terramar exists somewhere on Earth? This sea base that Ghislaine Maxwell was looking at building at one point.
I was wondering, like Terramar, isn't that the Ghislaine Maxwell thing? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The
Uh,
Austin Powers style base at sea.
you're right. Right. The Dr. Evil, just we're away from, whatever um, national borders and things that you can just do whatever you want in the middle
Mm,
of, there's no
yeah, yeah,
laws.
yeah, yeah. Where you can
But
go
we've,
and you can think all day long.
okay.
Think with the best thinkers as well, with some of the ones that have been
Yeah, you can get
squirreled
Noam
away.
Chomsky to think over there, the George Church. You can get all those Elon Musks. You can get all
You can get
and Bill
Jeffrey
Gates.
Epstein.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
All
yeah.
of them.
All, yeah, all those great
Oh,
thinkers.
can you imagine how amazing one of those places would be? It'd be a fantastic place to visit. And maybe, okay, I won't say what I was going to say next, but I I do think every now and again that somewhere out at sea, there's probably a load of billionaires who are having the greatest time, enjoying themselves, and they don't even think about us, to be honest. And I think that's the world of the future, isn't it? A world where they can create algorithms that manage us and manage our behavior and manage what we do and manage our creative impulses and our individuality. And you've been doing a load of research on this over a long amount of time. So, I
Mhm.
mean, where do you think we are in the whole grand scheme of evolution here? Do you think we're right on the precipice of a load of new technologies coming in?
We're on implementation phase. Like the research has been done, the technology has been built. Um, and so a lot of people who want to implement this have already done so before laws, regulation, legislation can all keep up with that. So yes. So what's happening for us plebs is we are being tracked and traced and digitally caged. And as you said, like, do they actually really think of us at all? And who's they? Okay, people who control this technology and don't who just want to live their lives just like the rest of us, except they have all the means to do so and say you can't come over here, you shut up. We're going to control what information you're allowed to access, where you're allowed to go, what you're allowed to say, what you're allowed to hear, and all that. So, yeah, yeah, we're in the implementation phase. And coming to the United States, I'm always culture shocked every time I come back here. And this weekend was the first time I ever saw a flock camera, which are those
What?
license plate readers.
Now, come on. I mean, were you doing the do at the time when you saw it?
No, it was in a parking lot or a car park,
what
as you
is
would
one
say.
of these cameras? Like, I don't want to say the word because my nan will pop out of her grave.
it's
Slap
a
me.
solar panel
Yeah.
with a big old. This might look a little graphic for the people watching and not
Mm.
listening, but I'm kind of like there's a solar
He's
panel
kind of
and
groping
yeah,
something
yeah,
in a gropey, in an
that's
upside, in a dead spider type of fashion.
and that's exactly what they're doing to us. They're groping us
In a dead spider
digitally.
type of
Yeah, yeah.
fashion.
So yeah, it was on a parking lot, a car park, as you would say, I imagine, at a hardware store. Lowe's is the name of the hardware store here. We've got Home Depot, Lowe's, and those kinds of things. But you could,
And what is it
that's
made to do?
well, it's supposed to be just reading license plates. So if it's
Mm.
going to be pointed at the parking lot of this hardware store, I imagine it's for, well, the official reason would be for people who are stealing from the store and leave, and then you got their license plate reader,
Mm.
So they watch you with their cameras as you go in. Oh God, yeah, I was at a Walmart in North Carolina not too long ago as well when I first got here, and they have five, six, seven different cameras that just track you like not just those little bubble things that are everywhere on the ceilings,
Mm.
but like things are just directly straight at you as you
Again, that's
walk
very
in. Yeah,
suggestive.
it's like
Hand
right as you
signaling
walk in.
going on
And
right as you go in.
I have got one of these hats, so like I put the brim down and I walk through like that. Just like not that I'm hiding anything, what did Edward Snowden say? I'm not really a big fan of his, but it's like if you got nothing to hide, that's just like saying that freedom of speech doesn't matter because you've got nothing to say. I don't know. That's kind of a weak analogy, I think. But no, yeah, it's like the excuse of not, yeah, I don't have anything to hide except my privacy, my identity. Like, why?
I'm surprised to hear that they're fitting in so many cameras, just even though that it is to an extent is happening over here. And there is something Foucauldian, and I think you would say a Foucauldian in the process is a obvious air of the judgmental authority observing us, so that alone will change our behavior. Um, but the what I'm finding in my local area, and I talked a lot about this with the people in the supermarkets right near me because we've experienced it together. I've recorded shoplifters, etc. But they don't.
Hmm.
There's a load of people who don't pay anymore. They go in, they take their
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
and they leave. And the
Hmm.
police in the UK have been basically said, we won't send police out if it's less than £200,
Oh,
which is
wow.
the equivalent of $250 to $300. So basically, you got the right to steal up to about 190 quid's worth of
I've
stuff.
even heard in the United States that's up to like $999, like almost $1,000, like in certain places. Like so,
Ooh.
I don't know if it's New York City or if it's someplace in San Francisco or some other place, but I've heard of like egregious amounts that you're allowed to steal. And like if people hire private security and all that, and if you intervene and physically try to stop someone, then you might be liable,
Mhm.
for a crime to, you're putting your hand on
No
somebody in assault.
security is allowed to touch anybody in the UK unless they're being attacked or they're attacking, and it's for the safety of
God, this is
someone
like
around.
Canada. It's like if
Um,
someone's breaking into your house, just let them just go find a safe place a room to sit and let them do it. Like
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
I mean, that just wouldn't happen in my house, I can tell you.
mm-mm.
Um, but I was talking to one of the security guards in the local supermarket, and he said that they've cut his hours because they're just gonna accept that people are gonna steal. That's it. They cut his hours down to 2 days a week from 5 days a week because they're like, it's cheaper for us to let them steal than it is to employ you. Um,
Oh
so
wow.
I
Yeah.
mean that then enters into a new stage. Now, the other day I actually caught someone. Well, there was two ladies. I was talking with them in the supermarket, and one of them said quickly, the shoplifter's back," she said to the other one. And she went to the aisle where he was at, and I went round in a circle, and I put on my camera, and I popped out the side just when he was having a go at her for watching him, and he was by the chocolate aisle, and he was about to steal a load of chocolate, obviously. And I came across, and I had my camera on, and I said, going live streaming to 8 million people. How are you feeling? And he went, who are you? And I said, I just hang around in shops. I just hang around in shops with my camera. And he was like, oh, this woman is acting like I'm going to steal something or something. And I was like, it does look like you're going to steal something, though. And no one else has mentioned that before you. And he come out, and he wanted me to see inside his bag to prove he wasn't stealing anything. So suddenly I become this security guard. Security guards can't touch people, but I can touch people because I'm just a normal everyday member of the public.
Mhm.
He didn't understand. He realized the rules of the game had changed with me a little bit. So he looked a little bit worried. Give me just 1 second. My computer is
Mhm.
going funny like it likes to do. My monitor likes to disappear and go off into a different world every now and again. um yeah, sorry about that. He decided that he was going to show me inside his bag to try and make it as simple as possible for me. And he had one big box full of these chocolate bars called Milky Bars, which are like sort of fluffy chocolate inside a chocolate coating. But he had a load of them that he'd just taken the box off some shelf in a supermarket and put it in his bag. And then he was showing it to me to prove it. And I was like, no one actually like buys entire cartons of chocolate,
Mhm.
mate.
Right. Yeah.
That just doesn't happen. And eventually he left. He left without stealing anything. And
Hmm.
I didn't even get it properly because I'd accidentally flicked the camera into slow motion. So there's 7 minute long, these like 30 second
30
sort of
second interaction, seven
yeah,
minute one.
and it's all you don't I can't none of the audio recorded. It's just slow motion shoplifter. I think I'm gonna redub it and do silly voices over the top. But
Well, you do have really good chocolate there in the UK. Cadbury is brilliant. It beats anything of Hershey here in the United States.
hmm
I actually was just in Hershey, Pennsylvania, driving around just a little while ago. Yeah, you guys are superior in chocolate. Best chocolate I ever had though, Ghana in Africa.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good,
I
very good
bet.
chocolate. Even better than South America. Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby. I like the sound of that. I like what so it is similar rules. So the same thing applies in America as it does in the UK in this sense for shoplifters and the like, for stealing
Yeah,
from
okay.
shops.
When you're talking about security guys and things, so
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
and I think it depends on what state, what county, what district, and so we're really we're, we're split up a lot. So like federal law, it overrides certain things, but yeah, states have a lot of leeway. So I think if you were to go to Texas or Florida, I don't know if you could actually mess around and do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you'd get a shotgun in your face, I would
yeah.
imagine.
And I'd love a little bit of that over here, to be honest.
Or I mean, I've seen other places, other videos as well with the like if you're Pakistani or Indian and you got a nice long stick and someone
Mhm.
is trying to rob you, then you just start beating with that and they
Yeah,
don't care, so
yeah.
yeah.
I am. I think there should be a lot to be said for long sticks you beat around people's legs like in India. And it does seem.
Oh yeah, I was in India for a month 10 years ago, and that was fun to see. Like, yeah, no one has guns. The cops, they would just walk around with big old sticks, and
Mhm.
even if you're like walking like a little bit, and maybe steering the pavement into the road or whatever, they're just
But you don't
like you're
see
a sheep. Yeah.
you don't see any of that in Colombia yet.
No, no, no one touches. You get frisked. You get stopped and frisked a lot. Like that's quite common.
The rules of the game are different. If it's the same in
Yeah,
Chile when I
there
was
is
living
no
down in
right to
Chile.
secure person privacies, search and seizures. No,
Mhm.
you were fair game. You just around anywhere, a cop will just come up to you, stop you, and just go down on you.
I
So,
went
like, yeah.
police auditing in Santiago. First Amendment auditing, you call it in America.
Hmm.
And I went into Santiago, the capital of Chile, and I recorded about 17 police officers. They were absolutely terrified of me because I speak English. And they didn't want to dare. For some of them, they were dressed like they were He-Man characters. It was bizarre uniforms. It was like almost like they were bomb explosive detonation sort of like specialists or something.
A lot of them are intimidated, especially in Colombia, because even if they took English classes for years, their teachers are horrible. So no one learns anything. So the moment, even English teachers in Colombia who are Colombians are very insecure.
Mhm.
So yeah, once you start interacting with a police officer, as long as you're not driving, I've got my license there, so that's a different story, but driver's license. But yeah, as long as you're not driving, you start speaking English and they look at you if you have blue eyes, especially look at your big, deep blue eyes, and then they start blushing. They just freeze up and they're like, okay, you can. It's like, bye, Jeff. Go, go.
I can't remember. I can't remember it's making me remember a story when me and Whitney were in Chile one time, and and she hadn't had a license renewed. There was some issue with renewing the license, so she was actually for about 6 months driving without a license, and we got stopped by the police, and she just went into pretend I'm a gringo mode, yeah,
Yes,
in the
that works
hope.
so well.
Yeah, but the guy, we were going through it, and the guy, I can't remember what he said. He said something in, it was it was hilarious. He said something in Spanish to try and trick us to see out of the blue. He was pretending to speak English, and then just at the end, he said something really silly in Spanish just to see if we would react. And it was I can't remember what he said, but it was just he paused for a second and he went, yeah, just accepted it and walked off. But we were like, whoo, got we We got through that. Of course, she could speak.
I mean, most of the cops in Colombia, a lot of them are very incompetent or don't care. A lot of them are young. A lot of them come from other rural areas and they come into the city. And mostly, if you do see them in the city, they're just sitting there staring at their phones. That's all they do.
So do you think like I mean I'm hearing talk from people who have been to LA of late saying, you know, they're seeing all the driverless cars, they're seeing the next stage of the technocracy, the past implementation phase, phase two of the technology, the everyday use of the technology, really, um, the normalization of it everywhere. Is there any of that? Is none of that on the East Coast yet? I take it.
I'm in a rural area, so I don't know. Like I said, I just saw my first flock camera, license plate reader, which is a big thing. So I'm already seeing that. Um, no, I haven't seen those automatic or the driverless cars. Um, I mean, I'm just north of New York City, so I mean, if I went down there, I'd probably see that quite a bit, but um, not yet. There's always that's always a thing too. A disconnect between rural and urban, right?
Yeah.
That,
I'm
that's
wondering if it's the same disconnect between Gringolandia
uh,
and down in South America. There's
oh, in
from
South
people at
America,
home,
that's not
Gringolandia is anything in the northern
no.
hemisphere, really, where everybody
Yeah,
goes
yeah. No,
crazy.
South America, they got all that biometric registration for their citizens. Airports, I've been saying this for years. Airports are just where everything gets rolled out. And like, look at all this technology. Look at this great stuff we can do and how we can identify everybody. But once you get out of an airport and into someplace else, then it all goes to hell. I do know that because I pay attention to the police and the city halls and the mayor's office of like all the little towns, the pueblos and the cities of in and around Medellin, Colombia, that they do scan license plates and like they brag about, hey, we were able to catch this guy who stole a motorcycle within 2 minutes or whatever from those things. And I'm sure and people appreciate it. And I've spoken with neighbors actually about it too. Like, yeah, we appreciate all these cameras. We because it's a crime laden country.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It had a very violent recent history, and and a lot of violence still continues to this day. So yeah, a lot of people are very accepting of it. They want it, like they want more of it. Um,
Um,
but
I
they don't. Mm,
I was in I was in a I was being hit the other day by a doorman, by a security guard of a nightclub. While I was recording, the police arrest a man who had defecated and assaulted three women. And I was just recording it separately. And for some reason, a doorman decided that I don't know what he was trying to protect. He was trying to protect the person who was being arrested, or he was trying to protect the police, or he thought there was another doorman involved in arresting, so he should
mm.
protect them from the camera that I had, because I do police auditing, First Amendment, so I
Right.
record when but I've started, I did have a program called Audit Everything, which was just about just recording in public, really. I'm kind of changing that now to being, I'm launching a new show on a different channel. It's called Cardiff on Heat at the moment, because it's going to be much quicker show, a much
Mhm.
quicker, lots of bits. I come across a load of really wild stuff all the time, so I don't just film the police now. I film whatever's interesting. But I was standing filming, and this guy, but Dorman, put his hand in front and he purposely hit me. And I was amazed. I was like, why what are you doing? What are you even protecting? And he said, I didn't do anything. And then he put his hand in front again, and it was on camera, and he did it again, and he hit me again. And I turned it around on him, and then he tried to go towards me, he wanted to have a fight with me. And while the police are just there, arresting a guy, and there's people everywhere,
All right. Well,
and at that moment, I realized, I looked around, I had a camera. Each of the policemen on the floor had a camera. There was five doormen, including the guy who was hitting me, who had cameras.
mhm.
There were four cameras up within sight of us on the street that we were on, and one main camera in the main street that looked on too. And there was the cameras from inside each of the bars and restaurants that were around that were facing us. And I was saying to him, you can say you didn't hit me, and there's cameras everywhere which show you hitting me. So I mean, I feel like a bit of a mixture about how I feel about the cameras myself, because I agree I
Yeah.
don't want the panopticon, but in the same way, when someone's hitting me, because because I'm recording something and I'm out of the establishment loop.
Yeah. Two things there. One, yeah, your camera might make people uncomfortable. So ignore all those 50 other cameras you just mentioned.
Mhm.
Second one, I would ask, apart from the camera thing, is what was going on and who was involved, and was there anything that was racially or ethnically um, different about it?
No, no, but
Oh, okay, okay.
the guy who was on the floor being arrested by the police was making some funky sounds.
Oh, okay. I mean, because there are some you see it like in those clips of like even in Ceuta and in Spain, what was going on in Morocco or what was going on in other places, even in the WNBA basketball here in America. Like if someone gets or in FIFA, like one group does one thing, like one group is aggressive, and the other one just goes hey, and then the one that said hey gets penalized.
Yeah.
So
So there's
yeah,
a whole load of Darvo involved in group mentality.
true.
Darvo being like reverse victim and offender, like the
Mhm.
psychology behind making the
And
victim
then
the offender and the offender the
enforcers,
victim.
yeah, the enforcers go for the Darvo. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they go for autumn. A lot of these guys are pumped up. They're pretty much they care much more superficially than they do emotionally about people.
Mm, mhm.
They look at people as more they objectify more, and they slip into group mentality more. And I think it just comes to a point that it's like, oh, there's something aggressive going on. Everybody must be defensive, and then something they don't know comes into that environment. They know the police, they know the person being arrested, they know their dormant friends, but they don't know me. And they have to make an assumption of what I am. And it's got to be the worst, most extreme version, because now they're in group mentality. Um, but I find it like, yeah, so you think that in South America, people are very happy about the cameras.
A lot of them, people I've spoken with, yeah, just because that's the only thing like they can see. Like they like their banking apps because before they have lines, the queues for any what kind of apps or receiving whatever, totally
I
horrendous.
went to the bank in Chile, man. It was terrible. It was like,
I mean, just yeah, everything processing, bureaucratic, licensing. You need a notary for every mother
Mhm.
effing thing. A notary. You need to stamp this, sign this, get in line for this, queue this. So once digital things came around, they were just it was that's a godsend. The convenience.
Mhm.
And then so when it comes into security, with the cameras, then they're just like, yeah, well, everyone I know has died, or like I know like, there's not a single family you're gonna find that wasn't affected by la violencia, the violence, and who hasn't had members of them killed. Like, every single person I know has gone through that. So yeah, they want it, they like it,
Yeah.
it's working for them right now, but that's gonna be taken away, in my opinion. It's like once you get hooked into that system, that's gonna be taken away. Just like Sam Altman was saying about um
You
AI
mean
and
the
their large
security part will be rug pulled?
the your access to things. So like, there's going to be security. I mean, but also you're going to be secure in a prison cell, right? You're going to be fed. You're going to be, you'll be taken care of. So like your access to whatever information, your access, like, so you've got the feeds, you can see what's going on. Because a lot of the cameras in rural Colombia are private cameras that the people install themselves. But then the governments uh, prioritize them, no, incentivize that you link them up to their systems.
Hmm.
So once you
Yeah,
do
I've
that, then
seen
all of a
that a
sudden they're
lot.
going to
Yeah.
like, all right, So even if you don't want to have your camera there anymore, I think they're just going to put a camera there, link everything together, install it, take your access away. That's right. I think it's going.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then
That
so
makes
just like
sense.
information, we'll give it all to you for free right now. It's convenient. You access like the freedom is the access right now.
Yeah.
That's where it's free. And then that's where the rug pull is your access, your level of access. And this goes back to what we've been talking about for the better part of this decade now, digital ID,
Hmm.
that is your access to whatever, social credit stuff.
Is two things to me. I mean, I think about. I talked to a couple of people about this. Um, the stores now in Cardiff, some of them are hooked up to the police. So the police arrive because they've used um I can't remember what the NEC face recognition
Mm,
software, Neo Watch and Neo Face, I think they called, and one of them is hooked up into shops, and when the known shoplifters come in and their facial recognition
hmm.
matches, the police turn up and are
Yep.
notified. And often the shop staff and security staff don't know what's happening until the police turn up and say, "Oh,
Hmm.
we're come to get this guy who's in your store and is a shoplifter." Now that makes a lot of sense right now. And to be perfectly honest, the people who are in charge of security there and the shops themselves will be happy to give over that sort of
Yep.
ownership of the actual camera footage and stuff like that, and CCTV, to the police. In because I mean, it will mean it'll save them. There'll be a cost benefit to it all, of course.
What I'm happy about for just right now is just in the moment are false positives, and that's like where I think one of the biggest pushbacks is going to be is like here again with the United States flock cameras. Cop goes to a woman's house, says, "We got you on camera stealing this package from a front porch over here. You know you can't go anywhere in this state, in this county, in this city, in this township without us knowing. We're watching everything." Turned out it was a false positive. So like it wasn't her at all. That's a great reason right now to go after like, hey, these are really bad. And then apart from the stalkers, like police misusing it and abusing it, but one day it's going to be flawless.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter what goes back end. So whomever is deemed to be a criminal, it's like, no, we didn't catch you on camera um, stealing a package. We know from your entire online presence, your everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you say, how you buy things, where you buy things. You are whatever laws we're going to put into place, whatever emergency act is going to be put into place. Um, we've got you totally surveilled. We know everything about you. Now we're going to go after you because you're a dissident, you're a deplorable, or you're whatever. So it's the thing is, yeah, now it's the system and the technology. It's got some tweaking to do. It's not perfect, so that's the leeway where it's like, oh, this is in the United States, this is unconstitutional, can't do that. Once they got it perfectly nailed down, whatever excuse that, that wants to be made to get rid of you, to debank you, derank you, defile you, or whatever, then that's going to just be open season.
It reminds me of an Edge conference, Edge Foundation talk that was given by Lawrence Reed in HeadCon 2014. It was called HeadCon 14, where were a load of scientists that were on um, behavior, or aspects of
Hmm.
behavior, physiological behavior, really, and how to change
Pre-crime stuff.
behavior, how to use shame to affect behavioral change. And Lawrence Reed did a talk on, it was called The Face of Emotion. And
Oh, wow.
it was describing, like, they can already tell, one thing it didn't really mention. It might have referred to it in a different way, but we have this really basic idea of what facial recognition is. We have a Minority Report version of it. Is it tags you as a person, knows where you are, knows where you're going, and there's cameras everywhere, so it just tags your face. Well, the facial recognition they're talking about is the emotional
Mm.
recognition too, and there's a couple of things like that. Emotional recognition is like facial expressions. You can have
Micro expressions. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so you can have surprise, but surprise could be surprise and anger, surprise and happiness,
Mhm.
surprise and sadness. It's a selection of
And it happens
things.
in a flash. Like,
Yeah,
y-
and it has to be and this may. I'll ask you a question now, which it's an interesting question that comes from that could lead people into arguments for hours. I've discovered is one of those questions.
mm,
But you they are trying to understand what is going on the face and emotion, but your emotion and your facial expressions are also tied to your body language, also tied to your tone, to the words you use, etc. They're
mhm.
looking to be able to monitor and understand all of that to make a very accurate prediction about what you're going to do in the future and whether or not you will be a threat to wider society, to them, to the system, or to yourself, or to anything else. But here's a question: who do you think would have more benefit? Someone who could voluntarily control their facial expressions, or someone who doesn't have voluntary control over their facial expressions?
They're
Who would have a
equal.
benefit?
I know sociopaths. I know narcissists, and they can just blank straight out lie, manipulate, like facial
But you
express,
know
like
them. You just
everything.
said you said there you know them, and you know them
Yes.
because something does not
Because, okay, this is
synchronize.
what I'm gonna say. Because I'm human, and there are things in that are intuitive,
Hmm.
which the machines, the algorithms don't, they're getting there, but they don't have that intuitive thing that can pick up on every single little tick. And one tick for one person, because you're saying like maybe this micro expression is combined with this one will mean something. Every single person, individual has their own baseline of facial expressions and things. And then they're also you put on top of that, like, would this person have Bell's palsy, cerebral palsy? They have another tick. They have a disease. They have the kind of neurological disorder. So you got to put all these things together in order to get a profile. So someone who the question was like who can hide it, and someone who like is just doesn't.
Who has voluntary control and who doesn't have voluntary control?
Well,
Who
either way,
benefits
there's
more?
control. Either way, if you're able to control that, then it's harder to read, right? So like it's almost impossible. But I don't think that's like I know what you're saying. I
Well,
just
well,
don't
well.
know if
It's okay. So let me give you some of the some
sure.
of the blurb of what they were talking about during this because
Mm,
I found this very interesting. I had a long semi argument with my best friend about it, which we
mm.
do sometimes. We love it. We have a semi argument and we come through the other side stronger and happier. But basically they believe they state at least a couple of the scientists who were involved in the Epstein funded Edge event in 2014 claim that it would a voluntary control over your facial muscles would be a benefit to us to your interactions with strangers, but would be negative to your interaction with friends and family. So your friends
Okay.
and
Why?
family will be able to recognize loads of
Okay.
different signals, not just to your facial signals. They'll see the synchronization between your body language, your tone, what you say, your previous and past experience, the fact that you've shown your facial
Okay.
expressions before, and uh, and one thing you talked about there was human intuition and how machines won't have a human intuition. So instead of human intuition, it seems like what we're saying is that they would have to break down each of those synchronized factors that make
Mm.
up what would recognize intuitively, we would
Yeah.
recognize automatically. They have to break them down into individual features and then try and work out on a scale of how likely or probable this event
Yeah,
would be.
because there's some people who are just like they can smile, they can say all the right things, but if there's this one little thing, a little twinge in their eye, one little movement, like all of a sudden you're just like, and you don't even know it's the movement and the twinge in the eye or that. There's just something that the overall picture is
I
just
think
like,
there's some
guys, this
sexualities
person's not right.
involved. I'm gonna say sexuality and gender
Yeah.
can be involved very much in the way that people move their facial expressions. I would say that there's certain I will risk saying this out loud. I feel as an 80s child, I feel saying to a gay man, I feel worried about saying this, but I'm gonna do it
Just give
anyway.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway. I
Yeah.
think that I would say that there's expressions that are very homosexual, expressions that are
Yes,
very
there are.
straight,
Yes.
very
Yes.
straight.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something.
Which then and it says is again shows that we don't really have a control over these things. There's
Mhm.
something fundamentally underneath us and that would be, I think, because we don't feel. Also, the question is, why wouldn't we have evolved? If there was a benefit, why wouldn't we have evolved to be able to control that
Well,
voluntarily
I do
control
appreciate
that
that
sort of thing?
we evolved at least, I believe, to recognize, even though sometimes it's difficult, manipulation when someone's trying to take advantage of manipulation. I might be just right now, just what do you call that? Projecting.
Go on,
I
what are you
might be,
saying? You
I might
you're
be projecting because I know because because I was yeah, I was with someone who was a manipulated person. I recognized something was wrong, but I couldn't pinpoint it. I just always knew and intuitively felt and saw all the signs. I saw the signs
Yeah, I know.
and opened up
I
my mind.
opened up my
Yeah, no,
eyes, I saw the signs.
yeah, but yeah, it's but seeing it and feeling it, that's a different process from computing it in the head. So I think computers and the algorithm, they're going to do it really well on the computing side, but they can't like still for now there's like all this. I think there's gonna be a million false positives if they're trying to do that. And but no, I think they got gaydars out there that probably do a pretty damn good job of supervision.
Yeah, of course there'll be
And
gaydar. Eventually there'll be just gaydar apps, like people will use.
and I think if you do that with take any CEO or like tech CEO or anyone in politics and you kind of run something through there, I'm pretty sure there's some baselines that you can pick up on that they all share, some kind of sociopathy or psychopathy and something like that. Yeah,
Okay,
because the ones who want power are like, I don't want power. I want to be left alone. Like, no, I would hate to have power, but yeah, the ones who do are the psychos. So yeah, we
you
do.
get an extra point for telling me who sang I saw the
Ace
signs.
of base.
Ah, that was too easy for you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
definitely my age. Definitely my age. That was good. Good. You get the point, even though we're not playing truth. How
Yeah,
many
I don't
truth
know.
bombs have you played?
Um,
You've
I
had
think
two.
two official
Yeah.
and then a special round with Hesher and Ruckus,
Oh yes,
which
yes,
is which
indeed.
happened right here at this cabin last year.
All
And
right.
oh, my parents, which was their grandparents' dear old dog Carly, she
Oh.
shat. She took a shit. Remember if you remember that as we were talking, and it stunk up the whole cabin.
Yeah.
Um,
What a good
she
kill.
Carly, she died in October at
Oh.
the age of 16 and a half.
Don't-
She was
You shouldn't
blind and
have.
running into things and shitting everywhere. So,
You shouldn't have
yeah,
told me that, the one
but
part, and then told me the other part. See, my facial expressions, I cannot hold
well,
them.
that's how it works. Oh,
That's how it works. I'm unable
this
to.
is how we do it. Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. Yeah,
This is how we do it. You say, so how does a computer recognize my surprise and delight that your dog dying and shitting itself? I mean, that's the issue that we've got with the
well,
whole
the
thing.
baseline would have to be Welsh,
You might
You
be
got to
right.
factor in all these things, you
Yeah,
know.
you might be right. You might be
It's
right.
like, what
I
what proximity to sheep? Uh,
I have to say, I try and say to I think people think that I'm somewhat, I think the term would be disrespectful to the people I wind up on the streets of Cardiff who then go around trying to attack me and stuff. Yeah. But I tell you, if you can't come into Cardiff city centre and have a laugh and a joke, you shouldn't be here. Because everybody's a joker in Wales. I can promise you, we're a bunch of very naughty, naughty, silly people. Um, so you've just written an article which kind of relates. I mean, we're not going to go. I will say to people that they should go to Sociable, of course. The link will definitely 100% be in the description. But the article, which is fantastic, is full of these wonderful charts that give you some sort of idea. They do a lot of that, but it's useful for these things. But UK ARIA announces 7 research opportunities to hack humans and nature and climate. And we're there, aren't we? We're at the point where they are actually saying we're gonna we're gonna start hacking everything. You mentioned earlier on, you mentioned George Church, of course,
yeah.
who I wrote about in a Musk and Epstein, the SpaceX offenders, because he was presenting a course on synthetic genomics. And to explain about that to people at home, it's how to program our genomes, our
Hmm.
genes, as though they were a computer, as though you type into a computer and you reprogram it. For
Yeah.
people can't even understand what that really means or looks like or how it's achieved. But we're talking about the point where we are well past talking about whether it's a good idea to hack humans, and they're talking about the infrastructure of building that now. Is that right? What am I right?
Yeah, you know, yeah, because I mentioned George Church earlier, and I was actually looking at just last week a story that I didn't end up writing. It was on a Rand Corporation research paper about mirror life. So, like, if all microscopic biology is this way, plus is negative, there's a plus and a negative, there's an up and down, there's a left and right. It's like the Stranger Things, the upside down. If you were to create another biology that just looked exactly like this and mirrored it, this other one that you were to create would take, well, their theory is it would take over and destroy everything, all multicellular life as we know it, plants, animals, humans, just everything. So that was my introduction to George Church. I mean, I know you've written about him, and I know about this Epstein connections as well, because actually, from talking with lots of Argentine researchers, that's just funny. But going into ARIA, which is your territory, your home ground there. So ARIA is the Advanced Research or plus. I don't like the way they put the plus in there. It's the Advanced Research and Invention Agency. It's modeled after DARPA. I think it was launched like in 2023, and the first CEO. And I don't know why you guys. I'm not saying you guys,
Yeah,
but
I'm Welsh. I
they're
mean,
all
these guys are
former
all English.
ARPA. No, the guys, the people who run it, the first guy, Elon Gur, was from ARPA E, ARPA Energy, the Advanced Research Process Agency for Energy in the United States.
Hmm.
In February of this year, Kathleen Fisher took over, and she was at DARPA. So, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency from the United States and the Pentagon. So, yeah, they're all about that programming biology, looking to nature to simulate it and use those same processes. And some of the stuff is really incredible. Like, this is why I love their ideas that they're putting out there in their research programs. These are the ones that we're allowed to know about.
Mhm.
These organizations, they recruit geniuses, like the best of the best. And a lot of time, like if you're coming from intelligence or whatever, like if you committed a crime that the government couldn't pick up on, they're going to recruit you. So it's like, these are some people outside of the box thinkers. So some of the technologies they're looking at are like looking to mimic how moths or dragonflies or whatever, how their entire systems, how they're able to sustain flight, have a heartbeat, which is electricity. It's like all these things that you need for computation, electricity, motion, energy, kinetic energy, like all these things, sensors. Um, and then to like create flying suits for humans, to turn trees into lamp posts that glow bioluminescently, to be able to smell like a dog. Like so you can pick up on other people's pheromones, like, oh, that one's in heat. Oh yeah, but I mean it's not like these are all factory senses. It's not like
Wonderful. That's how English people are, I have to say. I'm not
it's
surprised
incredible. I
it's in
mean,
the UK.
the United States is doing this. DARPA's doing this. Now ARIA is doing this. I'm pretty sure. I don't really look into. Actually, I would love to look into deeper. I've done a couple shallow dives into like Australia and New Zealand and the Five Eyes, the English speaking ones in the
I,
South
I
Australia.
I
But
gotta
like,
I gotta quickly just apologize to my English audience. I don't think you're all like, uh cringeworthy and etc. Just a lot of you. Just a lot of you. Okay. Anyway, sorry, continue.
yeah. So and then another one they were looking at Aria in this. So what they did is they've had a lot. Aria has had in the past 3 years many research programs, opportunity spaces, what they call them. They're trying to control the weather, block the sun, cloud seeding, all this stuff. Um, brain computer interfaces. But they were kind of like maybe two programs could be combined into one, maybe three could be combined into one. Like so, they just basically in this announcement, which was just yesterday, and over the weekend I saw that like, hey, stay tuned to this space because August 3rd we're gonna announce a new thing. I don't know why I'm talking like a 1920s vaudeville guy, but yeah, they're gonna announce this thing. So I was paying attention to it, and they just dropped it. I was like, oh, what's the new announcement? We have the same programs. We're just doing this, consolidating them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like yeah, what else they're looking into? Oh yeah, brain to brain communications. That's a nice one because they're looking for the future of encryption. And
Oh,
like,
what
can we just
encrypt our
share memory?
brains?
Yeah, yeah. Can we just share brains and memories like on a one-time pass key or something like that? Like, can we just do that? Like, and what
Oh
kind of infrastructure?
no.
And he mentioned, in the article, I'm pulling all these illustrations right from their research working papers, and it's not
They
even
love
all.
their illustrations. I've done a few
Yeah, it's
slides,
because these
things
are
about the
abstract
West stuff
concept
too.
designs. So it's like their approach is not like here's a problem we're looking to solve. It's more of this is where we're trying to go, like way out here, and what would do we need to do to get there?
Yeah,
So
it's technological evangelism. Is we
mhm.
want this result and we need to create the technologies to get to that result. What do we need to put into action that isn't profitable now, but will be promised to be
Yeah,
profitable down the line?
the only one that is like a solving problem thing that I see like for health or whatever is the brain computer interfaces one, the neural interfaces. They want to do it not with intrusive brain implants like a Neuralink from Musk. These are all those wearables, the sensors that can pick up your EEG, EKG, like brain activity, heart activity, and other things to treat neurological stuff. Which which is fun. Like um I'm gonna go off topic, like well stay on topic, but another story that I just came out did on IARPA, which is the Intelligence Advanced Research Project Agency from the United States, which is basically the DARPA for the spy community.
Oh,
They do all the
fuck.
spy tech. Um so they came out with something. It was called MOVES was the acronym, and I don't remember exactly what it was about, what that stood for, but they wanted to I love they put two sentences together like to make you think that this was about healthcare and solving problems like health problems. Yeah, doctors they need to diagnose how people have neurological disorders. We can do that with cameras. enter the spy community. Now, what we're going to do is we need to look at
Put cameras
videos.
in your butts.
Yeah, we need to take cameras, videos
Uh,
of it could be low resolution, could be high resolution. We don't
Low
know.
resolution
We
butt
don't
cam.
know. It could be from over here. It could be from over there. The angles could be from
Are
a
you going
drone. We
Vaudeville
don't
again?
know. Yeah.
Or vaudeville,
So,
sorry.
so we, I went like New Jersey. Yeah. So
Hmm.
they want to know what type of neurological disorders some people have,
Uh-huh.
but they work for the spy community, the
Yeah.
intelligence community. So why? It's to target certain individuals to either identify them, like Osama bin Laden was on dialysis. That's one way to identify someone. Like if you're
Hmm.
holding like, or if you're incontinent, you have a colostomy bag. But this one, like, what are little ticks, little facial expressions? They want to pick up on all that, and oh, so either that's our man, or we know what his weaknesses are, and we're going to go after that. So yeah, it's always it's
They're gonna get to
the
me
more
through
it's more
ginger
the more
beer.
sensors, the more looking at you, the more surveillance. Yeah, you can do wonderful things for health, and then you can just have, kill someone,
Yeah.
or ruin their
So
lives, or stalk them to, and yeah, whatever, target them.
I am too dependent on ginger beer. I think it's pretty easy to target me. It's not. I go from shop to shop looking for ginger beer, and I buy all the ginger beers. So they poison any of the ginger beer. It's only me who's drinking it. It seems, but it's still this.
Yeah,
So wait a minute. You've got DARPA, ARPA, IARPA, and what else have we got?
ARIA, we got ARPA, we got DARPA, we got IARPA, we got ARPA H, ARPA E, ARPA I, ARIA. We got, yeah, there's a bunch
Oh
of them. Yeah.
wow, man! And this is okay. So where do you think? I mean, this is we talk for a while about this, and always get into the same place. You're like, I wonder of the future, what the future actually looks like. Um, and of course, we're moving at such a speed that they're already planning how to change ourselves at a cellular gene level. That's
Yeah.
that's hard for us to understand. George Churchill, we mentioned, then is the father of modern genomics. He's one of he is an extremely intelligent man. Of course, him and J. Craig Venter, are extremely. They're the top of their field. They know what they're talking about, and they seem to be implementing programs that are going towards that. So, how long? What does that mean? If Do you understand
It's a
what it
shame they're
means?
pederasts. Yeah.
Yeah, but what does it mean if I was able to go to a doctor and him reprogram my entire genetic code while I live? How
Mhm.
does that work?
Yeah, I mean, they just go right into the DNA itself and restructure, reprogram it. They could also implant technology like actual chips and stuff. They could change frequency through light, through sound. You could there's another one that I was thinking of that I just because I'm looking at optogenetics, so yeah, but for me, like one of the bigger questions is then like, well, for how long, and whatever changes are made, how long those last? Is this going to be on a subscription? Like,
Mhm.
do I have to pay to play? Like, are you going to put something in me that's a software kind of buggy thing?
Yeah, like
Where all of a
version
sudden,
1.1.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought about that even, with the, with vaccine passports and the whole that sh sh I
Shebang.
don't, yeah, I know. I don't
Let's
want to
say
say shit,
shebang.
but yeah. So that whole kit and caboodle, the shebang. But what is every booster? It's a software update, and if you're not up to date on it, and if it's hardware, if it's software, like if you're an implant, I remember covering the World Economic Forum. It was this in 2018 or 2019, when there was military people saying like, oh, if I'm in the military and I get an implant that like lets me let's say, see in infrared, or that gives me superhuman capabilities. Do I own that, or is that the government's property?
Hmm.
And what happens, when we need to reinstall that software, that hardware? What happens when we need to update that software? Or if they just take it out, if that's going to be ingrained part, like grown into the body itself, that if you take that out, then you're going to die. I'm sure the technology is going to advance. I think I really think that there's going to be a future where it's kind of way more quantum, uh, wireless, contactless, um, non-invasive. I really think there's just going to be some signals that just go right in and bzz, sound, light, ultraviolet, whatever
Oh
frequency.
my lord.
That is where I think the future is going. I think quantum is one of those things that I cannot wrap my head around. I've tried for
But that
many years.
means we will be able to, at the drop of a hat, look different, sound different, be different,
Oh, it
have
changed everything in perception.
total,
Yeah, yeah.
total understanding and comprehension of things that we would normally have taken years to understand.
And if you can
Uh,
do that wirelessly and read and write to the brain, yeah.
when we're talking about quantum, the basic idea of this would be if you wanted to change your hair color to a nice Targaryen blonde, then you grow. Would it be that they reprogram your genes and the next hair that grows is this beautiful, fine
Or
blonde hair?
you wouldn't even need to do that. You just need to change the way that people perceive. Just send a signal to the brain, and now instead of seeing a bald American, you will see a blue-haired, whatever. I don't have to change my hair. I just have to change what's going on in your brain. You know, that that's that's what I'm looking.
That I mean that is okay. Okay, so let me I'm working on an article that covers headcon events that like I was talking about earlier, and there's two speakers. One is a woman called you might come across both of these, Molly Crockett. Um, she I wouldn't be surprised if you have come across her at some
Hmm.
point. She does have links. She's a Wellcome Trust post doctoral
Oh,
fellow, so you
okay.
can imagine. Was at the University College of London and University of Zurich as well. And at the time she did this, she was associate professor of experimental psychology at University at Oxford. So you can imagine those guys are totally and utterly
Hmm.
and this reminds me, I'm going to read you a quote from her speech, from her talk at this Epstein-funded event. And first of all, I probably pick your brains to see if you've heard it anywhere before. I will say that Herman Khan, I've heard Herman Khan use the exact same words as this.
Okay.
So it's very much the same style of people as the Kissinger years. Like Kissinger and Epstein were very similar. I
Hmm.
have to say, in who they hung out with. Right. Okay. But this is a quote. Imagine we could develop a precise drug that amplifies people's aversion to harming others. On this drug, you won't hurt a fly. Everyone taking it becomes like Buddhist monks. Who should take the drug? Only convicted criminals? People who have committed violent crimes? Should we put it in the water supply? These are normative questions. These are the questions about what should be done. So, right. This
It's
says,
good for lashings of the old, ultra violence.
yeah.
This is Clockwork Orange. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is a now when are we moving so fast that even that moment where they could find a drug they put in the water supply and trick us like that, is that itself just a thought experiment of what that you have to apply much more complex ideas to, because that drug they could add to the water supply isn't actually just like that. That's a simple way for us to
Well,
understand it.
as a thought experiment and a psyop, it's got me paranoid right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's already doing its work, even if it's not. doing it.
Herman Kahn of the Hudson Institute really did really it said to Anthony J. Weiner, the guy he was doing. I'm not sure if he's any relation, but him and Anthony J. Weiner were working together, and they did this video. And at one point, they talk about a drug. Maybe we could get a drug that could relax people. Maybe we should put it in the water supply. And they were looking at what to do in American cities. So lots of people say there's already stuff in the
I mean, the
water supply,
CIA tried
though.
this was MK Ultra as well. The CIA tried this with the LSD. Like how can we change the I don't know like well, the truth first they wanted a truth serum. They're like, can we make people more docile? Can we make them not want to be violent? Can we do all these things? Um, Basically, I mean, in the end, it's not going to. I mean, we're very complex, aren't we? But it does make me think of a DARPA program that was looking to. I forgot the name of it. I wrote about it years ago, but it was looking at researching psychedelics, and they wanted the same effects of psychedelics, like the integration without the hallucinations. So, like, they wanted get rid of PTSD, but don't hallucinate. Get rid of but to me, it was always like, well, can you really have one without the other?
Yeah. Can
The
you have
duality.
euphoria without feeling like you're on a different plane?
This is yeah, and I've said this over the years. I've said this on your shows many a times. It's that principle of polarity kind of thing, and like yeah, there cannot be light without darkness, no good without evil. There's a pendulum. There's a balance. There's no dull without sharp, hot without cold. Like you can't have one. You can't experience one without experiencing the other. So you need them. If you just go too far in one polarity, you're screwed. Like that you would never know
Okay,
the other
okay,
side.
here we go, here we go. So
Okay.
the next one, Lorianne Paul. Lorianne Paul, I don't know if you know who Lorianne Paul is. She's got Harvard in her, I believe. She's
Just a little
Princeton
bit of
and
Harvard.
Antioch. No, she had a little bit of Harvard. No, she didn't go to
Got a little
Harvard.
bit of Harvard.
She
He's a little
she
Harvard.
she did it to
She
lie. I
parked the
was
car.
lying. I was lying. She didn't have any. No, no. She was a professor of philosophy at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Oh.
A professorial fellow at the RK Research Centre at the University of St Andrews in Scotland, and she studied in Antioch College and Princeton University, of course, who do a lot of
Tick,
and
tick, tick. Yeah.
and
Right.
she's now professor of philosophy and cognitive science at Yale University.
Oh,
So
and she's just missing Stanford. Like she's got
yeah,
almost
I
all of it.
know,
Just you
I
just
know,
need
I know.
Stanford, and
Very,
you'd
very
be.
excited. I explained to this. I was talking about Sam Yam, who is one of the ones, Sam Yam and Jack Conte, who created Patreon. And someone was saying to me, "Oh, but Jack Conte isn't a bad person. There's no way that he's like been put in place." And I started to look at it. And I was like, Sam Yam looks like he's your perfect sort of Jeff Bezos character. He's your perfect like get someone do this, and then we need someone to face it up. And Jack Conte looks like that. I feel is a anyway. Not to get off course here. Lorianne Paul, a woman with many connections, as you hear, Princeton, Yale, etc. So one of the quotes from hers, and this goes to what you were saying about the choices, like choices in a sense, choices you can't go back on.
Hmm.
We're going to pretend that then, please, everybody listening at home, please understand that this was funded by Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to pretend that modern day vampires don't drink the blood of humans. They're vegetarian vampires, which means they only drink the blood of humanely farmed animals. You have a one-time only chance to become a modern vampire. You think this is a pretty amazing opportunity, but do I want to gain immortality, amazing speed, strength, and power? Do I want to become undead, become an immortal monster, and have to drink blood? It's a tough call. Then you go around asking people for their advice, and you discover that all your friends and family members are already become vampires. They tell you, It is amazing. It is the best thing ever. It's absolutely fabulous. It's incredible. You can get these new sensory capacities. You should definitely become a vampire. Then you say, "Can you tell me a little more about it?" And they say, "You have to become a vampire to know what it's like. You can't, as a mere human, understand what it's like to become a vampire just by hearing me talk about it. Until you're a vampire, you're just not going to know what it's going to be like." Now that
Johnny,
really marries what we're talking about then.
the I like video games, not online ones against other players, but the, what you just described two. I mean, in way more than described, but two games that I really like: Fallout New Vegas, where they literally
Yeah.
have to they go what their thing is that they want to be vampires but they're not, and so they just settle on drinking it from animals. Okay.
Hmm.
And then the other, just the experiments of the vaults in all those and vampires also in Skyrim. Yeah, that's another game too that you don't know what it's going to be until you actually do it, and then you find out the pros and cons. So I really think Bethesda games, Obsidian, those studios that make computer games, they've got to have intelligence agencies in there. They got to have Epstein people in there. They got to have.
Well,
Okay, so
they have a game built around choice architecture.
yes, but okay. Also, what you're describing is effing insane, and they're saying this as like nonchalantly. These types of thought experiments.
Yeah.
Where was this published? Where did she do this?
No, I'll be releasing a whole article
Oh, you're doing something. Oh,
on
okay, okay,
this.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
said you were going to do something.
very soon. I just wanted to pose you that one. I mean, so this was at Edge
You won't
Foundation.
know until you do it. You won't know until you don't know what's at the bottom of the pit until you dive. You
So
don't
Molly.
know what the drug is going to do until you take it. You have to like blind faith do
Hmm.
something. Yeah.
Yes. Molly Crockett, she's, I think it's her or it's Jackette, one of them. They say that um the this idea that if you don't have these conversations before the technology's been invented, it's very dangerous. So we need to have these technologies. You know, the one woman says, I'm underprepared to have this conversation, but we're going to have to. But they shouldn't be, obviously.
Yeah, we need to talk about it first. Otherwise, people might get vampire hesitancy.
Yeah, yeah, that's what the normalization of vampirism is what I think they're doing. And this was in 2014, so that's like we don't really think of. It's really hard with dates to realize how much time has passed, but that's 12 years has gone by when they're mapping out what we are positing is going to be the fundamental like fundamental things that are being implemented right now. I there's a lot of I mean, the reason why I was talking about Patreon in just now is we were talking about in the local cafe, we were talking about this presentation that Jack Conte did, and at the end it finished with a proverbial a real song and dance, you know. And a lot of what we're getting now is just total distraction, falsification. We're given a different idea of what's coming, and I think a lot of them have. They know that the next stage is so close, and the next jumps are so big, and they're so beneficial to so many people, so negative to for a few, of course. I think that they are willing to throw in all their chips now. We've reached
Yeah,
that point.
and what we're doing now is it's going to be it's not disinformation or misinformation. The thing what we're talking now is malinformation, right? It's
Yeah.
stuff that's true that's not gonna be convenient for them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think in the fifth generation warfare world, I don't think there's anything that cannot be spoken about. Really, it cannot be approached. I think it will
Actually, that's a good point
it be
because you can
more and
use
more
that.
like that.
you can use whatever, like you can say whatever you want about the CIA or who or whatever organization, and if they just go, yeah, maybe, it
Yeah,
creates
it
either
is.
more doubt, or it's like, oh, it's like more doubt or reassure in your own mind. It has nothing to do with them. They don't give a shit. So
So
yeah, it's
sometimes I've got and I explain this to people. Sometimes I've got to pretend to some people that I don't know what's going on, and they have to do this regularly. So I have to pretend to be dopey and naive, so they show all of their cards and they show their true face and they show it true intentions, and then I can be like, "Whoo, that's pretty."
yeah, that's a very intelligence agency way to go about it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you are, but no, because I've seen that been used on me before, and I didn't realize it at the time. But then I studied it, and now I realize exactly what was going on.
yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of it. It's not
it's
just
called eliciting a response. But
yeah.
you don't ask someone, you don't directly, you just kind of beat around the bush until they just start spouting out. Yeah, you gain confidence and they just spout. Yeah.
Well, I'm a spouter anyway, so I have to say I'm someone who's willing to speak to anybody about anything, and I tend to I've always been someone who just lays out all of the cards on the table, and that might be perfect in the era of fifth generation warfare. I've started to think about if we're going to think about warfare in this era as in relation to guns and bullets of the kinetic warfare era. I mean, if an article is equivalent to holding a machine gun and shooting out, is it a negative thing? You start to think about the moral implications, and you start to associate it with the murder of human beings. You know, the information you use, is that like a gun or is that like a missile? Are people going to be have negative consequences somewhere in the world because you reveal some information? At the end of the day, what is best? Reveal everything and show everything, or hide everything. Uh,
Well, yeah, it's almost like it's almost equivalent, but also opposite of the whole messaging during COVID with the uh in disinformation, misinformation. Like what you're doing, we need to inoculate, or even cyber polygon, cyber pandemics. We need to inoculate ourselves from misinformation, the infodemic. We need to inoculate our security systems from all this stuff, like the analogies that they
the
use.
inoculation.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing that comes up in HeadCon as well. Is one woman talking about shame, using shame as a tool,
Oh,
and of course it was something that
powerful.
the behavioral insight teams and nudge units did during COVID. They used shame to make people change their behavior. But they say shaming is a lot like antibiotics. If you use it too much, it limits its ability to affect behavioral
Wow.
change, and so they have to implement it here and there. But we see it
Mhm.
implemented here and there, but it's very rarely used. But these sort of behavioral change punishments, because that's what shaming someone is, it's a punishment.
It's
That's what using,
Pavlovian. Yeah.
yeah, it's we are entering into a new stage, and I think we can't be people who hide information. A lot of the problem is that the perspective is really narrow perspectives that people are giving, so that
Mm.
their information sits in a certain way with a trend, at least to fit a trend that is within that those people's chosen group that they're trying to project towards. What I try and do with a lot of my work is just make it for everybody, make something for everybody, like try and explain it in all different ways. Hard to
And
do
this is
now.
where I love about your style, because it's the chronological, is you can see it step by step. And I spoke times before, like how I do the old school, like, oh, we gotta start with the inverted pyramid, like what's this? And no, if you lay it out there, there's like, it's not an angle, it's not an agenda, it's not like you look over it. No, you're just showing. It's like just data, but it's in a very nice storytelling manner that just lets people just, this is the information. This is, and you can make sense of this information, right? Yes. So there you go.
Okay, we got to ask another question. There's another question I feel an impulse to ask, and I've never actually asked this question before. and I think it's pertinent. Are we going to die? Are we maybe the first generation that will live forever?
Oh, you and I are gonna die. Yeah. Uh, as far as
If we're talking about changing genes, we're talking about
are you
changing
talking about
everything.
body? You talking about consciousness? You talking about mind? Like, can you preserve a brain and put that into another thing? Are you talking about uh okay, I think like not dying, what they're going for now is leaving our corporeal thing.
Corporeal thing. Hey,
Well, our
baby,
bone
you
suit,
got a good looking
our body
corporeal
bag, our
thing.
bone suit, our body bone bag, whatever suit
Yeah.
matter. That's like all that matters to them is the matter, you know.
Yeah.
But die? No, I don't think anyone actually dies.
Ooh. Uh-oh. We're metaphysical here.
Yes,
Go on.
spiritually, it's metaphysical and spiritually. Everything lives on. There's a memory everywhere. There was a time I was looking into holographic universe kind of theories, and that whatever one does in life echoes in eternity. No, it like whatever you do, there's an echo, well, yeah, a reverberation. Like it's being felt somewhere, like a legacy. So there's always a legacy. So in that way, you don't die. If you have children, you pass that on. That keeps living. You don't die. My case, I don't know if the seed ends up in the ground. No, I don't know. Somewhere else. I don't know. No, I think that yeah, the ideas don't die. You don't die. Like, so, but what you're saying is like, can I sustain my brain or my body to keep going for
I'm
forever?
I'm saying that if we're talking about what they're claiming to be on the precipice of, then are we? What end
Okay,
game are
well,
we approaching? Are we approaching a
look at the dude
quantum
who's
end
trying to
game we don't
biohack.
understand, or are we approaching a Barbara Marx Hubbard shared brain hole?
This is where I look to mythology, and I love the Epic of Gilgamesh. And that's actually the very first article I ever wrote on the Sociable. It was October 30th, 2015. It was AI, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and humanity's 4,000-year quest for immortality. Um, I, I, you can't. It's even the guy who wanted to biohack himself that just like all of a sudden has like stomach problems now, like who's using the blood of his son to make him younger, and he was giving his blood to his father. Then all of a sudden, what's this guy's name? Brian, I don't know what his name is. Um, that's not working. So it's like hubris, it's like folly. Like every time you do try to intervene, it's not working out. Maybe we haven't got there yet, with the technology, with the science, with the what we can do to manipulate or
Maybe we're
like
not
or being
meant to.
heinous in the brain enough to actually try to do that.
I think there's a lot of
Um,
people who, when we're talking about spiritual spirit, especially what
mhm.
you're saying might be like, when we corporeal stuff ends, the spirit
Wants to
begins.
go.
And if we were to keep the spirit from passing across to a realm we don't understand, because we've made
That's a really good
technologies that
point.
we can understand, and have missed the point. I mean, essentially missed the
Because
point
it's
of
like your
what life
body
and
was
death is.
like your body or a machine or whatever. Like no, your body. You were given is a vessel that is supposed to last for a certain time, but if the spirit or the soul is still in there, while this vessel is no longer able to hold it, maintain it, sustain it, um, what happens to the soul then when that body when that vessel is decrepit, or even if you try to keep it going, okay, now you keep it going on, but it's way past its warranty date. Like it looks good, it's shiny and all that, but there's something else that just doesn't jive, that doesn't. I mean, these are futuristic scenarios. I don't know. I'm not religious. God, this is such a cop out. I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. Like,
No, yeah, but I'm
well,
in the same
I believe
cop
in the
out.
soul, and I
I
believe
got
there are
the same
things,
cop out. I don't
but
like how religion works. So, and I
but
believe in something that's bigger than me.
Yeah, but there is, man, I was just on the precipice of something there, but like it's extending something beyond what it's supposed to do. It also makes me think, going back to even where humans came from, then, and I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've looked into Zechariah Sitchin. I've looked into Anunnaki stuff. I've looked into human hybrids, or the who was, or like, were humans actually maybe Neanderthals at one point, or some lower creature that all of a sudden got injected with some this DNA that's intelligent, smart, and it's like, oh, that's what gave us this stuff. Did that Was that from another being? Was that from just nature itself, the universe? Was that from God? I don't know, but it's fascinating to think about. So, but beyond the philosophical stuff, yeah, I don't I don't have much else to say about it. The only philosophy class I took in college, in university, was Intro to Logic, and that's the only class I've ever failed in my life. So,
That was an illogical start
yeah, it
there.
was all about truth sets. It's like, if this, then that. If not this, then that. If
Mm,
this, and not this, then that. Like that
yeah.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I know that already.
But
That already
I've
crosses
seen
my
there's
mind.
truth. There's logic, and obviously that's what logic is. I mean, it's how you
There's
arrive at
logic
those
in that
conclusions.
logic.
That's how you arrive at those conclusions. But did they solve that for God or us, or why anything? I don't think so yet. But yeah.
I would say that there's obviously a different endpoints depending on which technology we go down, if we're going down the technological route, but all of them have endpoints. And the endpoint, by that I mean something that is different from what we have now and what we are now and what we're made up of now to what they're we are really, like, over COVID we were really focused on mRNA stuff, and that's
Mm.
like a very small fry in the technological sort of realm. It's just such a small part of a much larger mosaic where we should be looking at everything. And what they used to experiment on us for whatever nefarious reasons has distracted us, while they've done a whole load of things that are esoteric in nature. I mean, are we
Mm.
heading to a realm where they want to upload our consciousness? Will
Yeah.
we be each be given a machine ourselves? Will we
Oh, they
ourselves
will.
turn
They
into?
will. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
but there
Mhm.
could be a reason why they need slaves. This has been
And that's an
something.
Anunnaki thing as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's you need the worker bees to do something. And if they're going to be machines, it's like, well, what do you need humans for? But how do you make the machines better? What's ARIA doing? What's DARPA doing? They're looking to biology to program the machines, like
Mhm.
cells, using living cells at times, even organoid
Does
things.
all sound like it ends in some sort of virus, doesn't it?
So to put it like in a visceral visual thing. Let's just chop you up, cut you apart, and take all your oozy enzymes and whatever, and we're gonna put that into a sexy machine,
Yeah, go
and
on.
then that's gonna do all the work for us. Like,
Uh,
you still need that biological component, Uh,
will I still remember what it's like to run through a field with the wind in my hair?
God, I hope not, because you're gonna be stuck in some kind of computer chip
This is what I
in the
think. I think
circuit of the
everything
server,
sounds like everything sounds like a prison. Sometimes I think though just life itself feels like we're in a bit of a prison and we feel like
Well,
we're a
that's
little bit
perspective.
trapped.
You can
Yeah,
say
I know,
that.
I know, I know. I meet a lot of people who have a very hard life because I do a lot of walking around on the streets of Cardiff. There's a lot of poverty in Cardiff. There's a lot of homeless people. It's all getting worse and worse. I feel that while the rich are indulging in these um exploits of thought and medicine and all of this stuff and psychology, they're purposely neglecting to really focus on what's going on in the streets. So I
Mm.
have a hard time because I did to see life as totally wonderful. I personally am fairly happy and live free of fear. But I see fear absolutely everywhere around me. Sorry. You
It's
can
like it's
say
like,
you can
and with
say
that, ladies
something
and
nice at
gentlemen,
the end of that to make us all happy.
we've got a great future ahead of us. Uh,
Yeah. Mhm.
no,
Well,
yeah, it's whatever you make of it. Yeah, you can be. That's why I'm still smiling and laughing. Is you see all
yeah.
these crazy stuff all this crazy stuff that's going on, but you got to be grounded. You got to have a base. You got to have a foundation. You got to have some kind of, you know, for me, that's in the soul. It's in the human spirit. It's in the. I know, and I've seen a lot of the darkness. I think a lot of us have experienced bad. We've all experienced the ups, the downs, and it's in the future. I believe it's not written, so we can make what we want.
Nice.
You know, even in all this adversity, in face of all this adversity, uh, the ones who are adversifying, the antagonists, um, they don't know everything either. So
Adversify me. I like it. I like it. Okay, we're gonna end on that. Can you tell people where they can find you and all that jazz?
you'll never find me. No, in a hole in the ground. You can follow me on X at the Sociable and at Tim Hinchliffe. And then the website is sociable.co. And I'm looking to do some things in the future with what we're doing right now. So just hitting that
Woo.
out, hitting that out there.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. Oh, awesome. I thank you for coming on, and it's been so nice to have a conversation. And of course, we'll have a little conversation once we finish recording as well. And it's been it's nice. This has been the first podcast in a while. I've been looking forward to getting back on this, and I really want to do a lot more of this where I sit down with people who know their biscuits and explore which route they're going. So thank you, Tim, and I'll see
Oh,
you.
my pleasure. Thank you.